It's to try to give dads the goodness, the grace, the encouragement, the appropriate candor that is so missing in modern society today. And so I would love it if you would like to support that cause. Please like and subscribe. But I didn't come on here to do that. Today, I wanted to remark on sleep training. My wife and I are about to have our fourth baby. And obviously, sleep is really important to infants, but they do it throughout the day as well as probably staying up more than any of us would like at night. And part of why I wanted to come on and talk about it is there's some controversy about whether it's kind or helpful or emotionally damaging to sleep train your children, like leaving them by themselves for long periods to cry it out. And the cry it out method is probably what your grandma did. It's probably what her grandma did. And ultimately, it can be really successful and really helpful for our kids. It has worked throughout our kids' lifespan. When they're in about the 9-month period, they stop sleeping well. So we try to sleep train them then. And it ends up, we do sort of, there's a name to this method where you check in every few minutes. And then you move it to a little bit longer check-in time, like every 5 minutes. But there is no worse torture than listening to your child cry. And so the critics of sleep training have come out and said that you're emotionally damaging, stunting, making your kids worse. They're going to have attachment disorders and things like that because you let them cry at night. And there was some guy in Scrubs, a nurse's outfit, who came on, and I saw it on a YouTube short, and he was talking about how every time your kid cries, they're trying to communicate something to you, and ultimately you should be listening to it. You should go be attentive. Well, listen, buddy, he said, you're going to emotionally damage them. You know what else is going to emotionally damage a kid? Having a parent who doesn't sleep at night. If I can't sleep at night, I'm not going to be able to assist my child emotionally dysregulated, and it's any worse to let them cry it out for 5 minutes than it is if I don't sleep at all. Somebody else in a nurse's scrub outfit that said, oh, well, if you do this to your kids, you're going to end up having attachment disorders, or this is a very new method. Sleep training like this is a new method. Well, you know what? If nobody sleeps, then everybody's going to be emotionally damaged. Everybody's going to have problems. I'm going to have a shorter fuse if my child doesn't sleep. So it is actually kinder to help them be able to regulate and to comfort themselves in the crib than it is for me to check in and just hold them for 17 hours overnight. I have literally walked miles with my kids in my arms at night to where my arms felt like they were going to fall off in order to try to get them to fall asleep, when in reality, I was just simply delaying their ability to comfort themselves. If my children can't comfort themselves when they're tiny little infants, yes, it can be hurtful. Yes, it seems like you're doing something wrong. But you know who it's hurting more than them? Us. And so we are trying to re-regulate our emotions by assisting this crying child, when in reality, that's for you, not them. It's definitely better for them if you let them cry it out. I'm from Dayton, Ohio. I'm in the Midwest. Thank you, Kadar, and not Hanks. Thank you for insulting me. That's always welcome. And if you have actual criticism or comments, leave them in there. I love that. Yeah, I'm a crying child. That's helpful. Thank you so much. But if you need, I'm just so sick of the candor online about emotional regulation in babies. Ultimately, everybody's going to be better off if you can just allow the child to comfort themselves. Let's try to let them comfort themselves in order that we can stop this rhetoric. And really, it was over in like a matter of weeks. So like 2 weeks into the sleep training, it was a wrap. Everybody slept better. Mom was better regulated. Everybody was much, much better off when the child learns how to comfort themselves. And when you grow into adulthood or adolescence or pre-adolescence and you have a child who can't comfort themselves, that's what it looks like when you have a crying mob on a college campus that is whining and complaining and moaning because somebody said something that they disagree with. That is ultimately what your attempt to comfort your child throughout the entirety of their life. That's what's going to ultimately happen. Is there going to be one of these whining mobs on college campuses that when somebody says something they disagree with, they're going to fall apart. So sleep train your kids, teach them how to comfort themselves, and ultimately everybody will be better off for it. Thanks for having a little bit of a conversation with me. I just get nuts when I see supposed experts coming on in scrubs who probably have a kid of their own who's going to grow up to be wildly successful because they had a doctor for a dad or whatever. Good for them. Congratulations. I'm going to sleep train my kids how I feel is most useful and competent. And I can tell you, I've done it both ways. I've held my kid throughout the entirety of the night, and it didn't work out well. They didn't sleep for another 6 months. So I'm just delaying their ability to comfort themselves if I let that happen. Instead of just letting them cry it out, there is the one night usually in there where it's like a 2-hour crying session, and it's so difficult. Hello, Jasper. Thank you for attending. Thank you for commenting. Somebody said, weed is better. I've tried that too. I really smoked a lot of weed when I was younger, so I can say personally that works for me, but it wouldn't work for my kid to sleep anyway. Hi, Evelyn, it looks like. Thank you for coming. Anybody, if you want to support fatherhood, if you want to support the idea of dads moving forward and a society that supports fatherhood, please like and subscribe. And everybody, thank you for joining. And sleep train your kids how you see fit. You know your child best. Just be a comforter when they need it, but ultimately help them learn to comfort themselves. Then maybe society will be a little more based and a little less feckless, weak, and pathetic in the next generation moving forward. We're raising Gen Alphas over here in my house, so we're going to work hard to try to do the best we can. Thank you to F your pronouns. As a father, my boots stay laced and my hands are ready for working. Amen. Let's do this together. It's time for the future of fatherhood. Everybody from Beyonce to this modern society says the future is female. The future is fatherhood. The more households that grow up without kids in them, the more they are more likely to go to jail than college if they grow up without a dad. Let's move this ball forward. Thank you for subscribing, Jasper. Have a great day, everybody.